Hello to all of my friends out there. I have not been able to record a video, I'm going to say since April, the end of April. I have missed you all tremendously. I have been able to watch videos, but to really sit and to be able to make one, it was impossible. Um, this video deals with a subject that we don't like to hear, and that is death. Now let me go back to the beginning. I had began to lose weight very, very quickly. I went from, like, say, 135, 145, all the way down to 100 pounds within a matter of a couple of weeks. We didn't know what was wrong, why I was losing the weight. I had been accused of being anorexic, of being bulimic, because I was so thin so quickly. Well, my stomach had, though I was skinny, my stomach had begun to grow, and it literally looked like I was 8 or 9 months pregnant. One night I was in severe pain, and my husband looked at me, and he said, "That's it, I'm going to call the ambulance." Now, I can be pretty bullheaded, pretty stubborn, but at that time I was pretty ill, so I didn't argue the fact. Now, when the ambulance came, I can remember them coming into the living room where I was, and I don't remember much after that. I don't remember being in the ambulance. I don't remember the night at all, to be honest. Evidently, they had taken me to the ER, and they had a surgeon already and other doctors that were equipped to handle the type of surgery or whatever. Well, what had happened was my bowel had got a kink in it, like a hose kinks, and it had died. Well, evidently, when it starved or died or whatever from lack of blood, this big tumor, I mean, it was the size or bigger than a football, began to engulf my whole lower intestine and upper intestine. So anyway, they get me to the emergency room, and because my vitals were so low, they couldn't operate. They said that if we were to put her on the table right now, she wouldn't live. So I guess, well, my husband told me that they were coming into the room, checking my vitals every hour or whatever, all through the night, and they had come up a little bit during the evening, and the surgeon had said, well, that tumor is going to burst, and if it bursts, we're going to lose her, and I can't guarantee that she's going to make it through the surgery because of the vitals and the seriousness of it. Well, thank God, thank God it wasn't cancerous. They got in there, and I guess I was only supposed to be in there a couple of hours, 45 minutes or so, I don't know. But it took them a few hours to basically get that tumor out of me and reconstruct my intestine. I'm very, very happy that I did not have to wear a colostomy bag. I used to work in the nursing homes and the hospitals, and I knew of people taking care of people that had them, and God knows I did not want that. Well, it turns out that they had finished the operation and they started sewing me up, and I flatlined. I was gone. um, they had worked on me for quite some time to bring me back. Um, Now, I must say I'm a little disappointed because you hear these people that say that when they have a near-death experience, they have this heavenly, glorious, happening, and I'm a little disturbed that I didn't get to have the same thing. I know it sounds crazy. Well, they finally got my heart going and finally got me to breathe on my own, and they finished sewing me up, and they had taken me into the ICU, and I was in a coma for, I believe, 2 weeks, so I don't remember any of that time frame. All I remember is I woke up and I couldn't talk because I had all of these tubes and stuff inside of, going inside of me. That talking was impossible. Um, so I asked for a piece, motioned for a piece of paper, and I wrote on it, where am I and where is my husband? Please go get him now. Well, they told me that I was in the hospital, and I had had surgery or something. I I guess I went back out. I don't remember. Um, well, I went back into the coma, and thank God that they were able to sustain me until I could breathe on my own and eat. They were very worried about brain damage because after so many minutes, when your brain has no oxygen, it dies. So I guess they put me through CAT scans and just all kinds of tests, and I don't remember them, being in a coma, but being in bed for 2 months had caused me to lose so much weight, and I had gotten down to 82 pounds. I mean, I literally looked like death warmed over, and I kept praying and praying, God, if you still have a plan for me, then you're going to have to heal me. The doctors don't, they themselves don't think that I'm going to live through this, but you are God, and your will be done. Well, I slowly began to get better, and finally they were able to get me out of the bed and to try to teach me how to walk with a walker, which was a complete disaster. Um, they took the tubes out of my, I had one of those bags that you urinate in. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, I was able, after they took that out, I was able to get up and at least walk into the bathroom. And the pain was so severe, I thought that I was going to pass out when I stood up. But I did make it into the restroom, and I made it back to my bed. Um, Let me back up. When they tried to take the respirator off to get me to breathe on my own, I couldn't. I tried, and it was like I was breathing through this itty bitty tube, like the end of an ink pen. So they kept me on there for another few days, but anyway, God, let me back up. I came home from the hospital, and I was only home for maybe 3 days. Maybe. It was either 3 or 4 days. And my husband kept looking at me, and I knew I didn't feel well, but, I was a little agitated. I was like, what are you looking at? I mean, I wasn't thinking clearly. And I had a home nurse that came in, and he called her. And she didn't even take my vitals or anything. She took one look at me and called the ambulance. So I ended back up in the hospital. Now, I haven't had any food at this time for, let's see, May, June, since April, May, and part of June. And I was very weak. They had me on a feeding tube, but I was actually getting food like 2 days, and the rest were all like saline fluid with whatever. And so they got me back to the hospital, and they got me stabilized, and I was there again for 3 or 4 days, and they sent me home again. And once again, I was only home a couple days, and back to the hospital I went. Evidently, after they ran my blood, they had seen that all the electrolytes in my system were gone. My white blood cells were extremely low. The whole thing was just so frustrating. But I am finally, slowly getting back to normal. So if my face appears to be really thin, it's because it is. I have been able to get up to 94 pounds, and I'm slowly gaining my weight back, but at times I still have severe exhaustion and fatigue and whatnot. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys and share that experience with you. I knew that if I were to die, that I would be with the Lord. But I wasn't ready. I wanted to come home and be a wife, but whatever His will was, well, evidently His will was to keep me here, and so I'm here, and I will be making more videos, and I want you guys to know that I love you, and I am praying for you, and I wish I could just give you all a big hug. So you guys take care, and I will talk to you again later. Okay. Love you guys. Bye-bye.